our families or households pay an equivalent to 30% of their income towards rent,
Okay.
and we pay the difference.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the pod. And today we have an interesting segment, and it's more informative for the community. And here we're with Miss Maria with the Housing Authority, and she's going to give us some information about housing in the city of San Bernardino, the county of San Bernardino. Is that correct?
Yes, the county of San Bernardino.
Maria, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am grateful. I get to see the sunrise. It's a pretty interesting temperature today.
Yeah.
I feel like the weather can't make up its mind out here, but we're here.
Yeah, it's nice and cold today.
Yeah, I could see you are dressed really nice.
Yes, thank you.
So, Mrs. Rosa, right?
Razo.
Razo. I'll get it right. Razo. Kind of like reminds me of spaghetti. I don't know why. Anyway, can you, what's some of the information that you would like tenants and owners to know about housing that they may not know?
Mm-hmm. So we provide housing assistance to low-income families throughout the county of San Bernardino.
Okay.
And we're very proud of the work that we do. We have a great team. And I think some of the misconceptions is that we can assist every person in need, and we wish wholeheartedly that we could. We have about 100,000 families waiting for housing assistance right now across our various waiting lists.
Wow.
So there's definitely a huge need for affordable housing within, not just the city, but throughout the whole county of San Bernardino.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so we're very, again, grateful for the assistance and the funding that's provided to us by the federal government. And so we try to assist our families to transition through our program is one of the things really that we try to focus on, among other things, because we find that that is one way to assist more households. A lot of them are families, single-parent households, making minimum wage. They're working, but, with minimum wage at $15 an hour and rents close to, over $1,500 a month, close to $2,000 a month, depending on where in the county, it's not very affordable. But these are families that are working here in our city, in our county, and it's just such a greatly needed resource, right? Just affordable housing and having a place to live, to call home, to raise your children.
Got you. So would you recommend, since it's such a huge backlog, for people to still apply?
Yes, we still have various waiting lists that are open. I would still urge families to apply and to at least give themselves that opportunity. It may take years, depending on what waiting list they apply for, to be able to be pulled from the waiting list, but it's an opportunity. Okay. We see our programs as stepping stones. So, it's an opportunity for the family to use the housing assistance to be able to focus on other things. Like we have a lot of households now that are going back to school.
Yes.
So they're using the time that they're participating in our program to be able to further their education. We have some great partners like the county's Workforce Development Department that help our families grow their income. So again, it's not that our families are not unemployed. Sometimes they're underemployed. They're making minimum wage, barely making ends meet. And so if given the opportunity for training or just knowing about what other jobs are out there, what opportunities are out there, given those opportunities, they take advantage of those opportunities and grow into jobs that are better paying than a minimum wage job.
I got you. So, you said a lot of families are underemployed, correct? What happens if, let's say, does the program help people who are like an individual, that it's not a family, like say it's just a one-person home, and that person loses their job, him or her, and now they just need some housing help. Does it work for a single person as well?
That's actually a great question, because I always use the word households or families, but a household or a family can be one person. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And most of our one-person households are seniors.
Okay.
You know, they've been working their entire life, and now they may have a very limited pension or no pension. They're on Social Security, so they have monthly fixed income, and they need affordable housing, you know, somewhere to live out their golden years in dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a theoretical question, because I know there has been a lot of people losing their jobs, they're getting sick. And so let's say someone has an apartment, they're renting, they lose their job, they don't have any income coming in. How can the housing authority help protect that individual from getting kicked out of their place?
So, through our affiliate nonprofit, we can. So
Okay.
many years ago, we started creating nonprofit arms of the Housing Authority, because we are only funded for a specific amount and to help, as I mentioned, a certain number of families. But there are so many more families in need, or households, right? I keep using the word families. But and so one of our nonprofits is K.E.Y.S, Knowledge and Empowerment for Your Success.
Okay.
And they are really our homeless services rapid rehousing arm of the Housing Authority. And so they have been able to secure funding, non-traditional sources of funding, to help with families that are potentially at risk of homelessness or have fallen into homelessness, to be able to help them through a short period of time.
Okay.
And we also refer a lot of our households or families, single individuals that come to us, to our partners as well.
Okay.
And so, as an example, through the pandemic, the county and several cities had an emergency rental assistance program. It wasn't administered by our agency, but we had a strong partnership with those organizations, and made sure that we had the information to be able to assist the families. We did assist hundreds of our families that were participating in some of our programs that couldn't even make the rental payment that they were responsible for making.
Okay.
Because our families still pay rent. We help subsidize the rent, but they were also falling behind on that portion.
On the subsidized.
Yes.
Okay.
So we actually took the initiative to help hundreds of those households apply for that emergency rental assistance program to help prevent them from losing their home.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So can you give an example for us who may not know, like people are like, subsidy, I don't even know what that means. Can you explain like what is like an example of like what a subsidized rent would look like compared to like a normal rent?
Sure. So our largest program that we're funded for is called the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Okay.
And so the word choice is at the core of the program, because the families have a choice in where they want to live. It's another common misconception that we require the families to live in a certain city or jurisdiction. They have a choice. They can live where they're living now, or let's say they could be living in a garage, or doubled up in an apartment with several families, or extremely rent burdened, right, where they're paying the majority of their income towards rent. And so they have a choice. They can either stay where they are because they're rent burdened and they just need some help paying their rent, or they could move to somewhere where, let's say it's a family with children. Now that children have, they may have been in a one-bedroom apartment, right? That was me growing up, right? A one-bedroom apartment with several children.
Okay.
And now they may be able to at least share a room, right? Or have a space where they can do their homework and study and be able to focus on their studies. And so our families or households pay an equivalent to 30% of their income towards rent,
Okay.
and we pay the difference. So if the monthly income is $1,000, then our families or households would pay $300,
Yeah.
30%. And let's, for simplicity's sake, let's just say the rent is $1,000. We would pay $700 to the private landlord.
Okay. Okay. That's a nice, easy example.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
only making a total of $1,000. They only pay $300, and then the housing authority would implement the rest.
Yes.
Okay.
So the families still enter into a lease, just like anyone else would, with the landlord or homeowner, and we enter into a contract with that landlord or homeowner to pay the difference.
Okay. Nice. I guess I definitely want to get into the other side of it, like the landlord side of it. But a question that comes to my mind is that, and I'm certain this happens because people are flawed. What happens if someone, the tenant, doesn't keep their end of the bargain? Because you guys are keeping your 70%. But what happens if they don't keep their end of the bargain?
So we try to work with the family as much as we can. We're in the business of providing affordable housing, right?
Okay.
And providing a home to the families and the households that we serve. And so if the household is having a hard time, let's say paying their portion of the rent, then we work with them. We try to work with the landlord as well, to see what barriers, what issues are causing them to be in that situation. The example I gave during the pandemic was that we then partnered with other jurisdictions to help with that emergency rental assistance program. So examples like that. We also work with the landlord and contact the landlord to see, if there's anything we can do on that side. So we see landlords as our partner as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Basically, you're trying to help everybody.
Yes.
Everybody win. You're on everybody's side.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're like the mediator, I guess, and the I guess the ambassador. There's a word I'm looking for. Basically, like the unifier. It's probably the best word. Unifier of both parties.
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah. When it comes to, because the waiting list, you said it's 100,000 people, right? And that's just for the county of San Bernardino.
Correct.
So who knows what the state of California could be, or even the entire nation.
Correct.
It could be millions, right?
Yeah.
Easily. Is there, according to the waiting list, is it kind of like a first come, first serve basis? Or can it be like, okay, this person's on dialysis, so they need housing more quicker than someone who's just fat and lazy? No disrespect, but hey, it is what it is.
It's first come, first serve with the exception of veterans. So
veterans.
Yes, the program that we're funded for has a veteran preference. And so veterans move to the top of the waiting list. We do have unique programs that are funded, like smaller boutique programs. We call them special purpose voucher programs. So that can target special populations. So one of our programs targets persons with disabilities. So like the person that you mentioned, we have another program that targets veterans, specifically for veterans in partnership with the VA.
Okay, it's good to know because I know that I believe it's either 1/3 or 2/3 of people that are homeless are veterans. Correct, right?
It's a good amount, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know the exact statistic.
Yeah, but it's a pretty high amount, right? And so it's good to know veterans. There's programs here for you.
Yeah.
So it's good to know, and they get the first come for them, right? They get priority.
Yep, they move to the top,
which is good. And then I guess second on the list would be people of disabilities, right? And that could be maybe someone with Alzheimer's, someone that's autistic children, someone who has maybe amputee, dialysis need, all those, right?
Mental health and physical disabilities, through our mainstream program. So there's several partners that do the referrals for that program.
Okay.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to apply for the affordable housing, right? because that's what we're basically talking about, affordable housing, correct?
Yes.
How would they do that?
The easiest way would be to go to our website, and it's hacsb.com.
Okay.
And click on, there's a apply for housing button. And
Okay.
it's also on our main page. And so they can click on that and they can set up an account. If they don't have access to the internet, then they could contact our office at 909-890-0644.
Okay.
And so we have that sometimes with, seniors. I know my parents don't access the internet, so we want to make sure that we can accommodate everyone that needs help and wants
Gotcha.
to apply. Yeah.
Gotcha. And do you guys have a social media?
We do not have a social media.
Okay, we're gonna have to get them on the social media. They talk about the old folks with the mail. We need to get the young folks on the on the Instagram.
No Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's only because we really don't have anyone to manage it on our side.
Okay, we'll find somebody.
Yeah.
We'll get somebody.
We get some volunteers to do that.
because as we all know, as we grow, like everyone's on their Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, and it could just be like maybe a child's parents, maybe may not be, the child might be first generation.
Yeah.
Right? But they might be only 8 years old.
Yeah.
And their
that was
parent.
me. That was me.
See, you see where I'm going with it, right?
Yeah.
And they're on TikTok and they're
Yeah.
on Instagram, but their parents, just hardworking out here, but they need help, but they don't know who to talk to.
Or how to find us.
Or how to find it, right?
Yeah.
But their kid is involved in the social media world, but they're still a kid, so they don't know. So just an idea,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, thank you.
It could help, right?
Yeah.
So we've spoken on the tenant side, right? I'm assuming since you're the unifier of both sides, what would you like the landlords to know? How the housing authority is here to help them?
So we really need their partnership. We need landlords. Again, it's a three-way partnership between the housing authority, the households that we serve, and also the private landlords.
Gotcha.
So our families can't be successful if they could have a voucher, but if they don't have a place to live, then they're not obviously going to be successful. So right now we have over 1,200 families, households. I know I keep saying families.
It's okay.
Households
We're with you.
with a rental assistance voucher. And really the commitment from the housing authority that we will help pay part of the rent. In the majority of cases, it's a large portion of the rent.
Okay.
And they're having a hard time finding a landlord, that will lease to them. And we understand it's a tight market, right? There's a low availability of homes, whether it's single family homes or apartment homes right now. And so really want to plead for landlords to come come to us and partner with us. We have training sessions every month. You can contact us by phone or check out our website. We just actually had one last Thursday. Information on our program, how our program works, what the partnership looks like. Give a family an opportunity and a chance to succeed and to help make a difference in our community.
Gotcha. So I guess the reason why, we're searching for them is because this is just my assumption is that I'm guessing some owners, homeowners, apartment owners, landlords are hesitant, right? Why do you think they would be hesitant?
So what we've heard is that they don't want the additional paperwork, which we've tried to streamline as much as possible. Potentially an inspection. We have to go through an inspection to make sure the home, meets the standards of the program. We see the inspection as a plus, right?
Okay.
If you're renting, an apartment or a home, I would think of it as a free inspection, right?
Okay.
As a service to the landlord. And if we identify something, again, we work with the landlord, like this outlet's not working. It may be simple things to be able to to make those modifications, or most of the time they're minor repairs. And so those seem to be the most common. There's also misconceptions that I don't know where this is coming from, but that our families could potentially damage the unit.
Okay.
Our families are no different from you and I or any other family, that rents, who can say they have never rented before, right? I've rented many times before. I'm sure you have rented, yes. And so what makes our families any different, from any other family, just because they're participating in our program?
Gotcha.
And so we do have right now a landlord, we're calling it a kind of damage mitigation program.
Okay.
And so if there is any type of damage to the unit or the home after the family leaves for whatever reason, then we will work with that landlord to help pay for some of the costs to repair the unit.
And that's a plus. That's a plus.
Definitely.
That's even more security for the landlord.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
The landlord could even low-key come in there and be like, hey, they love this.
We would hope not.
Yeah, we would hope not, but it's having fun.
Yeah.
In order to qualify to even lease your property for affordable housing, what's the requirements? Do you have to have certain requirements in order? Can you have a house and rent it out?
Yeah, you can have a house
Okay.
of any size, an apartment home, a mobile home.
Okay. All those qualify.
Yeah.
Okay. So there isn't like a certain, you have to have a certain amount of things in order
Nope.
to rent your place for affordable housing.
No, as long as it has, the things that windows, doors,
Got you. Got you. Heat and water.
cooling, water,
Got you.
electricity, gas. Yeah.
Got you. And when we say affordable housing, it's also known as Section 8, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And can anybody qualify for Section 8
So
as far as a tenant?
there are income requirements that are dictated to us by the federal government. The income has to be at or below 80% of the area median income. I know it sounds super complicated,
Yes.
but we have a chart on our website.
Okay.
And so it's based on the household size. So the income requirements are by number of persons in the household. So for a family of 4, if I remember correctly, it's about $70,000, or a household of 4.
If you make less than $70,000.
Correct, which is everyone who has a minimum wage job. Even if it's a 2-person household and both, have a minimum wage job, they would qualify.
Yeah, they'd still make maybe $40,000, $50,000 together?
$15 an hour would be about $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
If it's a 2-parent household, about $60,000, they would qualify for our program.
And they would apply and go right into the list.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I want to go back to the landlords. Can you give them some more information of why it's a good thing for them to apply and to join the program and stuff like that? Because I know one thing, they'll be helping the community.
Yes.
That's one thing I can think off the top of my head. They'll be helping the community. I know there's like a bad notion for these Section 8 individuals, but can you help give some examples to alleviate people's mind who might be on the fence, like, okay, I can do it, but maybe some benefits, what they can do about why.
So for me, the most important one would be doing something good for our community, as you mentioned, yes. But also a form of secure rent on a month-to-month basis.
Okay.
So we offer the payments go to the bank on the first day of the month.
Okay.
So if they're in their bank, they can make their mortgage or, pay whatever they need to. And I would say that our families that are participating in our program are more apt to comply with the lease requirements because after waiting for so many years on the waiting list, they do not want to jeopardize their participation in the program.
Gotcha.
And so, they will have a family that will comply with the lease terms. Again, there are those cases where they do not, And again, we will definitely work with that landlord.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Are there, do they get any other like government benefits or financial benefits from being a part of this program? Owners?
The owners? No, not
Okay.
aside from the monthly rental amount.
Okay. And I do like the part that you said that the tenants are less likely to want to jeopardize the opportunity because they've waited so long to have it. And I'm pretty sure the tenants go through some type of background check.
Yes, they
as
do.
well.
They do go through a background check.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about the background check for the tenants?
Sure. Yeah. So we do a background check, and we, if we do find something in the background check, then the household gets a copy of that report. And so there are times we don't want a household to not apply because they may think that they're not going to pass the background check. We encourage every single household to apply. And if there is something on there, let's work through it, right?
I love it.
And so there are ways that I can't think of an example right now, but if there's something on there and they have done things to, address that, or they may need maybe some paperwork from the court, then we will work with that household. Yeah,
Okay.
we do not want it to be a barrier.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're trying to help everybody.
Yes.
I guess one good question that I have, and I'm thinking about it because I've talked to so many people from Helen Tran to Councilman Damon Alexander, and you can just see it driving through, I guess, California in general. There's a homelessness issue, right? So let's say there's a homeless individual. Can they apply for Section 8 or for the Housing Authority?
Yes, and we want them to apply. They can
Okay.
definitely apply. We were very, very grateful that in 2021, so just this last year, Congress approved a new program called the Emergency Housing Voucher Program.
Okay.
And we were the recipients of 455 vouchers for that program.
Wow.
And the main priority is to help those that are homeless
Okay.
or at risk of homelessness. But the majority of the referrals for that program from our partners have been for those that are homeless.
Okay.
Yes.
So if anyone out there who is definitely on the verge or basically out there, they can come to the website, make a phone call.
Yes.
Could they even walk in? Can people
They
make a
can
walk
walk
in?
into any of our offices,
Okay.
yes, and ask how to apply. How do I apply for the program?
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
is that also like a choice situation where they can choose where they want to stay?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
For the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, it works just like the traditional housing voucher program, in that they choose where they want to live and enter into a lease with the private landlord. And so right now we have about 200 households with a voucher in hand searching for a home to rent. And
that's what
so, the plea to landlords, please partner with us. We have a landlord listing service as well. So if a landlord reaches out to us, we put their information on there, and we share that with the families that are looking. And so it's a good way to lease your home or your apartment home quickly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of answered this, but let's say, because, different areas, I'm just going to use San Bernardino, or I can use Redlands is a different community than San Bernardino, which is a different community from Upland and Rancho Cucamonga, which are all in the county, correct?
Yes.
So their rent prices would be different, right? Some might be like $2,500 and another might be $1,000.
Half that amount. Yeah.
And the housing authority would still do the 70% for both?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to get into.
Yes, go for it.
We have a special designation that was given to us by Congress called Moving to Work. And the name is misleading. We don't require all of our families to go to work. Don't require it, but of course, we work with our families to do what they feel like they need to increase their earned income. Again, I mentioned go back to school, training. It could just be moving from a part-time job to a full-time job, et cetera. And so being on our program gives them that opportunity to kind of breathe and, focus on the employment aspect or the education aspect. And so through this designation, we're also allowed to change some of the program regulations to make the program work better for the families. And one of those ways is through setting rent standards. So HUD requires us to have maximum rents because we don't want to use taxpayer dollars to help subsidize a mansion, right?
Okay, got you.
And
I'm going to be in Beverly Hills, Section 8 Beverly Hills.
Yeah. So
that's a lifestyle right there. Okay.
So we have, we call them payment standards. So kind of a maximum rent that we will enter into. And so we asked HUD, could we set our own local payment standards? Because the standards that were given to us were for Riverside and San Bernardino County.
Okay.
And like you mentioned, just within San Bernardino, there are different rental markets, right? Barstow is very different than Rancho Cucamonga, which is very different than Chino or Yucaipa, Cali Mesa, Yucaipa.
Yeah.
And so we have local payment standards. So the rent caps, let's say, are higher in the higher market areas, like parts of Redlands. It could be a Rancho Cucamonga, because that may be where they're working or where the kids go to school. And so we want to make sure that those areas could be seen as areas of opportunity are places that our families can rent.
Okay, that's awesome. So, so you say it. You guys will help whether they're going back to work or going back to school. So schooling could replace actually going back to work if they want to go back for higher education.
Yes. And we also have a scholarship program that our families can apply for every year. Anyone in the household can apply for. So it could be a high school student that's looking to go to college. They can apply for one of our scholarships.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And the scholarships can basically also help with their living situation and everything like that, and for schooling.
Yeah, if they need to use it because they're going to live on campus, right, and they need to help kind of offset those expenses.
Oh, that is awesome. And I'm assuming it probably works for trade schooling as well, I assume?
Yes.
That is awesome. Maria, thank you so much for this information. I know there's so much I want to talk to you about, but is there anything else you would like to let us know, let tenants know, let landlords know, let the people in general know?
Just that we, are here to help our community, and we're very proud of the work that we do, and we're very grateful for all of the success and accomplishments that our families have accomplished and are, continuing to accomplish. And we encourage landlords, homeowners to reach out to us, to partner with us, and help a family succeed.
Awesome. For people, just to clarify, I know you mentioned it earlier. If people want to contact you, whether it's tenants, landlords, owners, can you let them know one more time how they can find you?
Sure. They can call our office at 909-890-0644. They can find us on our website at hacsb.com, or they can come into any one of our offices.
Awesome. And I'll have all the information, ladies and gentlemen, in the link in the description. So if you guys are like, I don't remember, it'll be there so you guys can just click and get there. Other than that, Maria, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Today, guys, we just want to give you guys some information, to help out the community, help out the county, maybe help you out, maybe help someone else that you might know. Maybe you might drive by and see the same individual outside, and you're just like, hey, here's some information that might help you get somewhere. So other than that, my name's Antonio Lee Miles. I want to thank Maria, our wonderful guest, the Housing Authority, for letting us into their building and speaking on this information. And hopefully this helps you guys. And other than that, we will catch you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.
I say it's my duty. Yeah. Is it my will
something really quick with your microphone.
Sure.
You can still hold it. You can
Okay.
hold it anywhere. There we go. My eyes are bad. Is there a red dot right there? I think so. Can you see a red dot?
No.
You don't see a red dot? I see a red dot. Yeah, there's a red dot.
Okay.